Welcome, everybody. We are going to wait about 1 more minute to give everybody a chance to settle down and get situated. So in about 60 seconds, we will start your dashboard resources. Okay, everybody, we are ready to go. I'm Dr. Tony Alessandra, and I welcome you to this, what I believe is going to be a really, really good webinar. We are going to have our newest employee, our Chief Coaching Officer, Angie Fairbanks, be the MC of all of these coaching related webinars. But just so that you can get a little background about Angie, Angie is an international coaching and training professional with 27 years of coaching experience and international speaking experience. During that time, Angie has worked with small to medium-sized businesses, franchises, and Fortune 500 businesses in the areas of executive development, leadership, management, team execution, business development, behavior, and even life. Angie has worked with coaches and business professionals in over 80 countries to perfect their skills to be good leaders and to make an impact on their local economy and, most importantly, their personal lives. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Angie Fairbanks. Take it over, Angie.
Thank you, Dr. Tony. Thank you for the introduction. One thing Tony didn't mention is I am a surfer girl, and part of my language is stoked. That's one of my favorite words. So I am super stoked to be part of this team. You, Branding, and the team at Assessments are amazing, and I'm excited to be part of this Assessments family. So I'm honored to be a part of this family, so thank you. Before we get started, a couple of housekeeping. One, this webinar is recorded and everyone will receive a recording and the slides. Two, we are happy to have everyone on the call today, so there's a lot of you. We will keep everyone on mute. If you have any specific questions, please type your question in the Q&A section and the team will be answering your questions on the spot and in the Q&A section. So I'm excited, without further ado, to introduce our facilitator, Jen Larson. Jen is the queen of training and the vice president of instructional design and certification. So Jen, welcome and thank you for being our facilitator today.
Well,
Jen, take it away.
Thanks, Angie. I'm excited to be here too. I know that this is a content area that lots of people are excited to be learning about and experiencing. We hear from people all the time that one of the things that you love the most about what we offer are the training resources to support you with using these assessments and also the other tools that we have available. So our goal today is to help you see and experience and know all about what it is that we have to offer. We're going to do some training materials overview. We're going to talk about our non-certified resources and our certified resources and the difference between them. And I'm going to give you a resource tour of our brand new updated trainer materials libraries. So you'll get a chance to see what those are going to look like, and they should be live and ready to rock and roll by the end of the week, which is amazing. No more listen. We actually have something that is really, really cool, and I'm really excited that our training materials have a new look. And then lastly, we'll talk about some of our other tools and some of the reports that you have in your dashboard that you may have heard about, or you may have seen once or twice, or you may never have experienced before, so that you know what's available to help support you in your business. And we'll talk also about what assessments we have beyond our most popular, the DISC assessment, and how they work in conjunction to create a holistic view of a person and their skill set and the things that they may struggle with and an opportunity for growth and development. So there's a lot of really cool things that are going to be coming at you. I want you to know that it may feel a little bit like you're drinking from a fire hose because we got a lot of stuff to cover in under an hour. And yet, as Angie said, we're going to send you a copy of the recording. We'll send you a copy of all of these slides. And within this slide deck, I've written notes that describe what you're seeing on the screen so you can refer back to them at any point. And as always, if you have questions, concerns, challenges, we welcome your contact so that we can help you be as effective as successful as possible. So jumping right in, we're going to start with a material overview. Our goal is to help you feel as confident as possible and as informed as possible and as effective as possible with using our assessments. And one of the things that we offer at no additional cost is a library of trainer materials to help you with a variety of execution using these materials, whether it's coaching, debriefing, teaching workshops, having one-on-one conversations, having conversations for conflict management. There are a variety of things to support you. You likely have already experienced our support and customer service, which we pride ourselves on having world-class support. But we want you to know that there are lots of other things to support you in addition to our staff as well. So what you'll see on your screen right now is a look at some of the things that our training materials offer. So the first thing that I want you to know is that we have trainer material libraries for our certified practitioners and non-certified practitioners. When using our assessments, you do not have to go through certification programs, though we highly recommend it because it broadens your level of understanding and helps you differentiate yourself in the market because you have this incredible, vast knowledge of information available. But if you're not in a position to be able to complete certification right now, you are still welcome to use our assessments, and we still provide you a library of resources to support that use. That library is available to you on demand, so you can access it when you need to. And there are several resources, whether you're certified or non-certified, to support you in using these assessments in the best way that you can. These assessment-specific tools in the libraries are designed to help you grow and develop your model knowledge, help you provide more comprehensive debriefs and support to your clients, enhance your coaching conversations, help you offer robust workshops and trainings with all the resources you need, including PowerPoints and facilitator guides, and support your efforts in marketing these programs and assessments in the way that you're using them in your business. First, we're going to look at our non-certified training tools because these are available to everyone. Whether you have a certification program in place or not, you can access the non-certified library of trainer tools. And it's accessible through your dashboard. So from your dashboard screen, your home screen, on the right-hand side, you're going to see the resource center listed there. And just under that resource center, you'll see a link to the trainer materials for all of the programs that we have trainer materials for. DISC, Motivators, Hartman, EIQ, Learning Styles, Sales IQ, and more. Now, when you get into your dashboard, there is a specific password to allow you into those certified and non-certified training sites. So just below the link, you'll have a password listed there for your access. Once you get into those training tool sites, you'll see things like group and team building exercises, games and interactive learning, debrief resources, background materials on the model, presentation and training materials, audio and video files, and follow-up email tools to help you continue to keep the learning fresh and use these assessments long-term with the clients as needed. Now, this list that you're seeing in front of you, I'm going to show you examples of some of these things in just a few minutes, but I want you to see that there is a broad group of different things available, even for our non-certified practitioners. However, if you take the additional step to go into a certification program, you get all of those non-certified tools and several more things. You'll notice it's the same list for the most part, with the check marks there, the group and team building activities, games and interactive learning. But for each of these different areas, you get significantly more information that takes your learning to a greater depth and helps you to apply these things in different ways. You'll also notice here in the center of this list, presenting and facilitation resources. So we have a separate section for our certified trainers and practitioners that give you some guidance on how to effectively present and facilitate. There are things like coaching guides, there are video review, there are feedback opportunities, there's development plans, there are all sorts of things that you can use to increase and become more competent in your presenting and facilitation. And that facilitation piece is only included in the certified training tools. So you'll see all of the same things that you'll see in non-certified, but much more. You'll also see additional workshop content, additional debriefing resources that go much, much deeper, and coaching resources to help you have the most effective coaching conversations with this information. You'll also get some connecting materials. So for example, if you get certified in more than one program, let's say DISC and Motivators, you'll also receive resources to support using those in combination so that you can use the DISC and Motivator report together and be able to be effective with bringing those together and bridging the gap. Lastly, it's just important to remember that the certified materials are only available through a certification program. So you won't have access to those certification libraries unless you roll in a program. If you're looking for a mastery level understanding, we absolutely recommend that you go through those certifications. They're designed to provide you with a deeper expertise as a consultant, a coach, a trainer, a partner, a peer, a leader. So we absolutely would recommend that you take that curricula and guide your implementation of these tools at a deeper level. We know that they provide practitioners with an enhanced capability, clarity, and insight. And this stuff can really make all the difference in having a long-term interaction with these tools and your clients and customers in a way that really makes things meaningful. So the next slide that we're going to look at is going to take us to the trainer materials so that I can show you what this looks like in action. And as I said, this is something that's brand new. It's just been rolled out. And so we're really excited to be able to share with you new access to this. And all of these sites will be active by the end of the week. So you'll get a notification that these are made available, likely on an announcement through your dashboard and possibly through an email as well, so that you can log in and check all this stuff out. So excited about this page. So you'll notice that there are some sections in this new version that shows the group exercises, debrief resources, training resources, PowerPoint slides, background materials, the 52-week DISC email series, videos and audio presentations. So whatever it is that you're looking for, you can first find it by using these categories of information. Now, if you've accessed the previous version of our training materials library, the information that's presented here is the same information. So the tools that you know and love and have used up to this point are still the same tools that are present here. They just have a new look in some cases. We also will be continuing to update and customize as we move forward. As Kathy and I and the rest of the staff at Assessments 24/7 learns and grows in our own knowledge, we want to make sure that we're passing that along to you. So you'll see updates to these materials. You'll see new materials show up, particularly things like activities for bringing this learning to life. We try to add those pretty regularly, so you've got new and improved and fun stuff to do in your sessions. The site that you're looking at right now, this is the certified site. So I'm just going to scroll down briefly here and let you see how many resources are available for our certified practitioners. Then in just a second, we'll go to the non-certified site so that you can also see that there is a broad variety of information available there. And yes, I'm still scrolling. There are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of things to support you in understanding how to use our assessments. This is only the DISC trainer materials. We also have this same thing for other programs. So you have individual libraries with assessment-specific information to help support you. So now I'm going to pop out of here for just 1 second, and I'm going to show you the non-certified version of this. Now I know that I'm going really, really quickly. If you have questions, please put them into the Q&A. And again, know that we're recording this and we'll send you the PowerPoint presentation and the recording. So as you can see, when you very first come to this screen to access the materials, it is a password protected site. So as I mentioned, on your dashboard, there will be a password there that allows you to enter this site, which means that not just anybody can get in here. If they're just poking around on the internet, they may not be able to access our resources, but you as our practitioners and clients and friends, you have access to these incredible resources. So this page is the non-certified site, and I'm going to scroll down again so that you can see still an extensive list of information here. It's not as extensive as the certification side, but it does have a wide variety of resources to support you. One of the biggest differences in certified and non-certified materials are the training resources. So on the non-certified materials for workshop presentations or for training classes, you receive a 2-hour version of our DISC workshop and a full comprehensive slide presentation that you can customize to do whatever length of workshop you'd like to do. This is consistent for the other programs as well. You'll have a 2-hour version of the presentation and the facilitator guide and a longer version that you can use. When you get into certification, we build more of this for you. So you'll get a 2-hour version, a 4-hour version, and the full version of this. And oftentimes, if we've customized another version of a training for a client, we'll share that with you as well. So if you needed a 3-hour version, you would have those tools already available for you. One of the things that is most wonderful about our trainer materials and how they can support you is that in addition to building all your knowledge and giving you all the benefits I've already mentioned, you can also take any of these resources and make them your own. So we encourage you to customize your classes. We encourage you to customize your activities. We encourage you to work with the needs of your clients and the people that you're coaching and your customers and your trainees in a way that really meets their needs. And all of these pieces are available for you to take and make your own in a way that works for what it is that your purpose is. We also can help you with that. As part of my team, we also do some instructional design. So if you need help customizing, reach out. We're happy to give you support with that. If you just want to run it by us so that we can see what you've done and make sure that it still meets all the requirements of the model, we're happy to do that too. Just send us an email and let us know what you need, and we will absolutely do our best to support you in that. Okay, back to our presentation. Now that you've seen the DISC trainer materials, as I said, we also have the same thing available for all of our other core assessments and some of our additional assessments as well. So you'll have the same experience with your trainer materials, whether certified or non-certified, in any of those libraries. They're going to look the same. Some of the content's going to be consistent. So for example, you can see on my screen here, we have group exercises for trainers in most of these trainer materials. Sales IQ is a little different with the way that it's ordered, but it also has group exercises in there. So you're going to see consistency in the programs and in the materials that are offered, whether non-certified or certified. And again, all of these will be available to you. You'll see them linked on your dashboard by Friday. Right now you're linking to an old version of this, but it's still the same content. It's just not yet as pretty. It's temporary, and your new versions will be up and available on Friday. So with these other programs, again, note that we're always continuously updating and adding for both certified and non-certified practitioners. As we develop our own understanding, as we make changes to things, if we update branding, you'll see updated resources available for you as quickly as we can get to them. So now we're going to transition to our other assessment offerings and reports. And when we talked about including this, there was a conversation of how does this really fit into trainer materials and resources? And what we noticed is that we had seen on lots of our surveys and with the feedback from the people that we've worked with, that they love that we have all these other options that are available. And yet, most of them either aren't using them or don't really know what all those options are. So we thought we'd take a few minutes on this trainer materials call to show you what other assessments we have and how they work with the things that you're likely using most of, and what other reports we have available through your dashboard for things like group reporting. So this is going to be real quick and dirty. The intention here is just to give you some real quick looks at what are the other assessments that we offer, how do they fit in with our product lineup, what is the benefit of those assessments and what might they be useful for, and then to show you some of the team reporting that we have in place for all of these as well. If you are interested in more assessments and other reports or any of the things that you're seeing here, please reach out and ask for more information. This is meant just to show you a little bit so you can get your palate wet and get interested in what else is available. So we have a range of assessments and tools, all designed to work together to create a holistic view of a person and reveal essential insights to help them be the best person that they can be and to reach optimal effectiveness in their personal and professional adventures. So most of our clients know that DISC is the main solution that people utilize with our company, but we have lots of other offerings that may be helpful too. So I just want to show you what our most popular are. So first, all of our assessments have a similar structure. When you look at our assessments, you'll have an overview of each of the models, followed by a robust and comprehensive personal results section that tells you all about you, and finally an application and adaptability resource. So for each of the assessments, you get insight into what it is that's being measured, how it applies for you directly, and then how to apply that and engage it in other relationships to make it as effective as possible and build mutually beneficial relationships. Any of the things I'm going to show you right now, you can also see samples of on your dashboard in that same resource spot where you can access those materials I showed you before. The right-hand side near the bottom of the resource center is a link to the sample reports, and you can go in and see any of these that I'm going to show. Now, with each assessment, I'm going to tell you about what's measured and how it applies so that you can look at how might this extend what I'm doing already. Beginning with our first core assessment, most of you are aware of, or if not aware of, very active users of DISC. And our DISC self is the most popular assessment that we offer and is the most well-known in the industry. DISC is designed to measure and reveal observable behavior and emotions in both our natural and adapted style through our own personal blend of 4 behavioral styles: dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. Our DISC comes in several versions. So you have the DISC self, which is a personalized report revealing information about your own DISC style. We also have a sales version, a leadership version, a coaching version, a service version, and another report we call the DISC Plus, which capitalizes on all of those: sales, leadership, coaching, and service, and puts them into one more brief appendix, if you will, that tells you how to apply DISC in all of those areas. Now, DISC as a standalone assessment, it works so well for people to be able to reveal how we express who we are, and sometimes how that takes a lot of energy, and sometimes how that can cause tension in relationships. It's a wonderful basis to understanding our behavior and emotion. The second assessment that we offer that's pretty popular as well is our motivators. And motivators is designed to measure the 7 dimensions of motivation that drive those behaviors and emotions that we see in DISC. The 7 dimensions are aesthetic, economic, individualistic, power, altruistic, regulatory, and theoretical. And using those 7 dimensions, we have a perfect companion to DISC. DISC shows what we do in our behavioral tendencies. Motivator shows why we do it. It shows what we value and how we may make choices and decisions and act on those values. Again, I know this is fast and I know it's dumping a lot of information on you that's meant to be something that piques your interest. If you have questions about any of these, please don't hesitate to reach out. Our third core assessment is learning styles. And learning styles identifies our preferred methods for taking in new information, for paying attention to it, for receiving it from a source, retaining and then recalling that information in a way that is engaging to our whole brain. Because there's no one way to learn most effectively, and because everyone has different ways that they learn, this assessment gives us some insight into how we prefer to engage in a learning experience, and will also help facilitators and trainers, whether formal or informal, effectively share new information with others. If we understand how people interact with new information, we can ensure that they have the best learning experience. If we understand how we interact with new information, we can ensure that we are effectively creating learning opportunities for ourselves. All right, our fourth core assessment is EIQ, and EIQ is getting to be a very popular assessment. It highlights and examines our own self-perception of our awareness of our emotions and how we manage them. And it gives insight into how we understand the emotions of others and manage our relationships. By understanding our own emotions, we can then become more effective and intentional in our own responses, as well as connecting with others in a way that improves our decision-making, our leadership skills, and helping us, again, to build those mutually beneficial interactions in a way that are healthy. By understanding the impact of our emotions, we can be intentional in building stronger relationships rather than just being responsive to whatever our instinctual emotional response would be. Our last assessment listed in the core is critical thinking. And this is based on the Hartman Value Profile. Some of you may have heard of that as the HVP. This uses Robert Hartman's axiology to measure critical thinking and processing capability. It reviews our thinking patterns to look at, from an internal perspective and an external perspective, how we leverage our strengths and what our blind spots might be when we're making decisions. When we recognize our critical thinking pattern, both internally and externally, we can then intentionally be sure that we are making effective, balanced decisions. Again, all of these assessments can be reviewed on your sample reports page from your dashboard. If you have questions about any of them, please let us know. All 5 of these assessments are designed to work hand in hand. And I know they're not in this order on the screen, but when we talk about building on them, usually we start with DISC. Because if you think about it like layers of an onion, DISC is on the outside. It's what everybody can see and experience in you when you're expressing your behavior and emotion. If you peel back the first layer of the onion, you're looking at motivators. Again, that's what drives those decisions and those behaviors and those emotions based on the things that we most value. Now, I talk about EIQ as also existing in that second layer. So if you're looking to the left of layer 2, you'd see motivators. If you're looking to the right of layer 2, you'd see EIQ. And EIQ has an incredible impact on the ways in which we express our behaviors and emotions, and whether we can do that in a way that's powerful or in a way that's healthy or in a way that can cause tension and frustration. So that second layer is motivators and EIQ. If you peel back the third layer, we start to get into critical thinking. And that is the behind the scenes processing that's driving the bus, so to speak. So it's what's happening in your brain before you even know you're making the decision. And our critical thinking patterns then come through our motivation to measure with and compare and contrast with our motivations, then are filtered through that EIQ layer to be expressed in our DISC. So there's a pattern of thinking that can happen through our thinking, our values, and our behavior that's impacted by our emotional intelligence, and it's all connected. The last one is learning styles. And if you think about that onion sitting on a table, learning styles is the foundation of understanding how we get all of that information into our person and make it meaningful and relevant, and then how we can recall it and also apply it in the future. Okay, moving on from core value, or from our core assessments, onto other assessments we offer. And you probably have seen these or experienced these at some point as well, but we want you to know what's available. So in addition to the core assessments, we also offer 360s in DISC, emotional intelligence, and leadership effectiveness. Now, DISC and emotional intelligence 360s are built on the exact same model that you'll see in the DISC and the emotional intelligence reports. The idea here is not only to reveal your own perception, but also to measure the perceptions of others to see if those match. So are people perceiving you the way that they intend? And you can have all sorts of different other people who would provide insight into those things. You can have all sorts of perspectives that are shared, and it will reveal if there is a gap in your perception and the perceptions of others. Leadership effectiveness is not built on one of our other assessments. It's its own standalone 360. And it looks specifically at 8 leadership competencies that you get a self-assessment for and through the lens of observers, so that you can get critical insight on your ability to be a leader. It looks at communication skills, decision-making, delegation, emotional intelligence, managing change, setting goals and standards, and team building and visualizing the future. So there are all sorts of different insights that you can gain from that leadership effectiveness 360 if you are in a position where leadership skills are necessary or impactful for you. Now keep in mind, this doesn't have to be a formal leadership position. You may be in an informal position of leadership or influence, and these things can absolutely be essential to understand. The next section that I've got here up on my screen is combination reports. So based on the core assessments that we looked at moments ago, you can also bring those pieces together to create combinations. And these are both a full version of each of the reports in a single document. So you'll get a summary of the two and how they work together, and then the individual report for each of them. So DISC Self and Motivators includes a full DISC report and a full Motivators report, in addition to a combination summary. DISC and Learning Styles, same thing. Summary followed by a full report of each. If you are able to use these in connection with one another, it is such a robust experience for the people that you're coaching and working with. It can absolutely make all the difference for people to see multiple layers of self-understanding at the same time in a way that's really simple and practical and applicable. The last one that I want to show you on the assessment side is the Sales IQ Plus. The Sales IQ Plus is designed to show capability through an objective assessment with scenario-based solutions for salespeople. So what we're looking at is throughout the 8 stages of the selling process, how do you measure up in your sales capability? And you're asked several questions and scenario-based situations. Through your answers, you're given a measurement of effectiveness in being a good salesperson. This is one of the only assessments that has right or wrong answers. The rest of them, it's all perception, and it's all just things to be aware of and things to look at and to evaluate the effectiveness of. Sales IQ gives you an thumbs up, thumbs down score to help you know where you may need to grow your skill as a salesperson. The 8 process steps are preparing, targeting, connecting, assessing, solving, confirming, assuring, and managing. And you get to see how all of those 8 pieces come together, as well as an objective measure of your skill within them and areas for opportunity, suggestions for improvement and development. Really cool assessment, especially if you've got a sales group that's looking to build a really robust and really excellent capacity together. So you can start with an individual understanding of everyone's sales skills and then use this to build a collective sales team that can support one another in each of those stages for an incredible sales experience. Now, this next slide is probably one of my most exciting slides because this is something new and it's something that's coming very, very soon that we've put so much work and so much excitement into having this. It is our own version of a trifecta report that brings together DISC, motivators, and critical thinking. It's the newest addition to our catalog of options, and its intention was always to be about hiring and selection, and we call it GPS. The name may change a little bit, but the process of it is going to be the same in that it's to help us find the right people for the right job at the right time. And it's focused on selecting, developing, and retaining the best hires possible. Now, we currently offer this comprehensive report together that you're seeing on the screen right now. It can provide either a summary version like you're seeing here, or you can also get it in a full report version where you get much more detail on each of these things as well. And within this GPS report, you also get things like interview questions to help you know what to do with this information when you're seeing it. So this is something that's really, really cool, brand new, really exciting. We can't wait for you all to get a chance to use it and see how it can be beneficial for you. Now, while it was designed for hiring and selection, it also creates an effective foundation for development, especially through the process of onboarding when a candidate is transitioning into a position. Whether it's transitioning to a new position within an organization that they already are a part of, or as a new person who's experiencing a new manager or a new leader, this can be absolutely mind-blowing in giving information to that leader or manager to help that person be as successful as possible right out of the gate. So it really does do both things, hiring and selection and retention and development. So cool. Now, another piece of this that's really exciting, and you may have seen this before, is we have benchmarking available, which takes a person's DISC style and compares it to a predetermined behavioral model. Now, those can be either a generalized model or a customized model, depending on what you need your benchmark to look like. But it will literally look at how does this person measure up to the target of what we think is the best behavioral style for who we are working with. Now, it doesn't tell you who to hire, and it doesn't tell you always how these things are going to work within your environment, but it gives you enough information that you can ask the right questions to determine, is this person going to struggle in this position because their style is vastly different than the other people who are successful here? Will they bring something unexpected to our position that's absolutely necessary because they have a different perspective? What will we need to do to help them develop? How will they fit with our team? So there's a variety of things that can be answered and explored through conversations using benchmarking. So that's coming soon as well. Now, the last part of this that I want to tell you about is probably the most exciting, and that is that all of this is going to be available to you in the coming weeks through an app. And that app, this is a screenshot of what it looks like on the right-hand side. That tool, when it's released, will provide all the benefits of these assessments in the palm of your hand, which effectively changes the landscape for hiring. We are so excited about how this might bring a new face to this process of hiring and selection in a way that helps people see all of the things that they need to see and ask all of the right questions to find the right person for the job. So stay tuned. This is going to be announced really soon when it's available. I'm so excited, if you can't tell, and I know I keep saying it, but I'm so excited about this coming out. It's going to be absolutely groundbreaking and amazing. All right, now I'm going to transition a little bit from the other assessments that we offer, and I want to show you team reports. So this is the last thing that I'm going to introduce you to today, and then we'll take some questions if you have them. So please keep putting them into the chat or the question and answer for me. Our team reports, hopefully you have experienced before and seen samples of before. They are available on your dashboard as a free report. So anytime someone has taken an assessment, if there's a team report available, you have the access to that with no additional cost. So I'm going to show you some of the most popular team reports that we have specific to DISC, but know that there are also team reports for the other assessments that we've talked about. To access the team reports in your dashboard, you go to group reporting, and you'll see under that group reporting tab, lots of different choices for team reports depending on what you need. These are designed to help you see what's going on in your team, to compare and contrast the skills and talents of your group, and to help you know what kind of development might be necessary to have the most effective team available. Now, what you're seeing on the screen right now is one of the pages from our most popular group report. That report is called the Team Dynamics Report, and it's several pages that shows you a detailed style breakdown of your team and gives you additional support resources for engaging their strengths, minimizing their challenges, and helping them to interact more effectively with others. What you're seeing on the screen right now is a team wheel page, which allows you to plot all the members of your team in one visual so that you can explore your team's balance and look at what are the benefits of the breakdown of our team. What are some of the challenges that we might have? How might we need to adapt to be more effective? Is our leader in alignment with our style? Things like that. So there's lots of information that's presented, and you can track both small and large groups on these wheels. Now notice you have a wheel for the natural style and a wheel for the adapted style. So you can see if your team is adapting to their role and what that might look like in a shift. The second report that I have up here to show you is a wheel of the individual, or sorry, a page of the individual wheels and graphs for each individual person. So you can look at what's the natural and adapted style for everyone on my team, where do they plot in this wheel, and what might that help me to know about them. If you know anything about how to read these graphs in the reports on their own, then you can use this as a side-by-side quick glance comparison of individuals. And again, you can see samples of all of these directly on your dashboard as well, or you can go into your group reporting and pull up your own. All right, the next team report I want to show you is our 12 behavioral tendencies report, which shows comparisons of your team members in each of those 12 behavioral tendencies that are about halfway through the DISC report. Now, in this overall summary, it highlights the intensity of the style, which you can see down in the intensity scoring legend at the bottom. And you can see just by looking at the colors, if there's a grouping of a style that everybody is consistent in, like these two here, with all this blue, or if you've got some outliers, like these two here in the yellow and the green, or this one over here in the red, where they may be doing things differently because of the intensity of their style in one of those 12 behaviors. Again, helping to create a holistic view of what's our team all about and what's going to help us to be as effective as possible. The last team report that I want to show you is our collaboration report. And the collaboration report is designed to match two individuals. So you can choose two users and show side by side information about their styles to use for coaching or development or conflict management. This report is pretty detailed and provides some significant insight for several different perspectives of things to help these two individuals understand one another better, communicate more effectively, work more successfully together. The collaboration report only matches up two individuals though. So keep in mind, if you're looking for something that's more team-based, you'll want to go with the team dynamics. If you're looking for two individuals to compare and contrast, that's the collaboration report. And it's also available under that group reporting. Okay, I've talked for long enough. So I'm going to hand it back over to Angie to wrap us up, and we'll see if we have any questions that can be answered as well.
Wow, thanks, Jen. First of all, I would like to thank the team for monitoring and answering the Q&A. All the questions in the Q&A were quickly answered. But Jen, one question that stood out that the team would like for you to highlight, this was from Dr. AJ. I love the onion let's try that again. I love the onion explanation. I was wondering how to describe the connections between the assessments to folks.
That's a great question. So there's probably more to say about that than what I would have time for here, Dr. AJ. And I know you and I have some calls scheduled, so we'll certainly address that. I think the easiest way to talk about how this works for people, in addition to the onion example, is if you think about each of these assessments being a part of the body, okay? So think about learning styles being an arm, and motivators being an arm, and critical thinking, we'll call that your head, even though I don't think you could work without your head. You'll get my point in a minute. And a leg is disc, and a leg is EIQ. When you have all of those pieces of the body working together and aware of what else is going on in the body, you can be the best version of yourself. Think about what might happen if you sit on your leg and it goes to sleep. You're not as able to be your best self when your leg's asleep. So if you're not aware of what's going on with your motivation, you're missing out on part of your body. You're missing out on being aware of and attentive to and being able to leverage the strength of that body part. If you have all 5 of these assessments, for all intents and purposes, you're looking at your whole body and you're able to intentionally look at, how can I effectively use my left hand and my right hand and my left foot and my right foot to do what it is that I need to do? Now, as I said, critical thinking as the head, probably not the best example for this particular part of it, in that you can't live without a head. Do you have to have any of these assessments? No, but every bit of them is going to bring additional insight, additional power, additional perspective in a way that you may not have had before. And if you don't have an arm or a hand or a foot or an ear, can you still be an effective human? Sure. But are there things that would be helpful for you to understand about how to work within that circumstance? Absolutely. And would it be helpful to you for you to have resources to support you with that? Absolutely. So being able to look at the whole person perspective with all 5 of these assessments is like having a complete body. And each of them addresses a different part that beautifully builds and connects to the others to create the greatest opportunity for effectiveness as a complete entity.
I love it. Thank you, Jen. I love the additional perspective. Great. That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So first of all, Jen, wow. All of this looks great. And I love your excitement. I can tell how excited you are throughout this webinar today. And you were right. This was absolutely a fire hose of awesome and most useful information. So I appreciate that. The dashboard, the tools, and the resources are absolutely amazing. And thank you so much for facilitating and showing the assessments community these tools and resources. So I personally am looking forward to seeing all the new certified resources that will be rolled out at the end of the week. So I'm looking forward to that. So thank you again, and the assessments team, for creating a new refresh to the dashboard, tools, and resources. So for everyone on the webinar today, thank you for taking the time to be here today, and thank you for all the private messages and warm welcome that you have given me. To recap what Jen had mentioned, these tools and resources are truly a benefit to grow and develop model knowledge, provide comprehensive debriefs, enhance your coaching, offer robust workshops and trainings, and support your marketing efforts in your business. You may reach us at any time with additional questions or interest in any of the products or resources that Jen had mentioned, with the contact information shown on the screen. So for general questions, please contact hello@assessments247.com. As mentioned in the beginning, a copy of this recording and PowerPoint will be sent out to you following the training. At that time, a very short survey will be included to gather feedback on this webinar experience. So we value you and thank you for your input. And one of you will be randomly selected to whoever completes the survey to receive 2 free assessments of your choice. So we look forward to your feedback and your input. And thank you again. Be safe. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, your week and weekend for everyone. Jen, thank you again. And thanks to the assessments team. Bye for now.